Start now. Tell me something about yourself.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. My name is Mehak Mahajan. I am from historical city Amritsar. I did my 10th and 12th from Amritsar as well. I recently qualified as a chartered accountant in November 22, and I did Bachelor of Commerce under Guru Nanak Dev University. I did my articleship from R. Meher and Associate, which is a very well-renowned CA firm in Amritsar. In that articleship period, I did a work in audit taxation domain, and I also learned how to deal in stringent deadlines. And my current goal is to get a job in a reputed organization. Thank you. That's all about me.
Okay. Why you want to join the PWC CMAS profile?
As it is one of the challenging role, and also PWC is one of the biggest accounting firm, and I also did the I have keen interest in this profile. That why I want to join this.
What do you know about this profile?
Okay, this profile is basically a capital market accounting advisory in which we have to give a advice to the clients regarding their accounting problems, their accounting. Also, we provide a solution to them and accounting transactions.
Okay. How good are you in Ind AS?
I am provider rating to me is 6, but I am doing the sessions of Ind AS to improving my rating.
Okay. Do you have any practical experience of Ind AS in an articleship?
No, sir.
Okay. Tell us something about Ind AS 115 5-step model.
Okay, in Ind AS 115, the first step is to identify the contract. Second, identify the performance obligation. The third is identify the transaction price, and fourth is the allocation of transaction price. And last step is recognition of revenue.
How do you identify a contract? What is the definition of contract as per Ind AS 115?
On the basis of contract, firstly, the terms of agreement should be clear. Second, the rights are properly identified. The client entities are able to entities probable that the consideration will be received. On that basis, the contract will be recognized.
What is the definition of a principal as per Ind AS 115?
As per 115, the definition of principal is that the principal is liable to fulfill the contract. He is liable to set the prices. He will be liable to bear the inventory losses.
Okay. What are the exemptions provided to the lessee as per Ind AS 116? And why this Ind AS 116 was introduced?
As per firstly, the exemption is provided to lessees.
इम्प्रूव करिएगा, 2-3 चीज इम्प्रूव करिएगा, क्वेश्चंस को पूरा सुनिएगा आराम से, इधर इसमें होगा आपका गलती, ठीक है? तो लेट्स बी स्मूथ ना, हाँ उसको पूरा कंप्लीट होने के बाद आप बोलिएगा, थोड़ा वो हो रहा है, ठीक है? ठीक है, और टाई आई थिंक सो थोड़ा ऊपर ओड हो सकता है, तो वो थोड़ा इम्प्रूव करिएगा, ठीक है? ये सब चीज थोड़ा इम्प्रूव कर लीजिएगा, ठीक है? बोलिए.
Okay, the exemption provided to lessees that this is not need to apply the 116 if it is as it is low value asset and the lease period is less than 12 months. And this is in 116 Ind AS has been introduced so that to provide more disclosures in lease agreements and also for the exemption provided to the lessee.
To bring the off-balance sheet item to on-balance sheet item. Earlier it was finance and earlier it was finance. You can write it down. You can write this down also little bit. To bring the off-balance sheet item to on-balance sheet items. To bring the off-balance sheet item to on-balance sheet items. Okay.
Then, sir.
So bring the off-balance sheet item to on-balance sheet item. Earlier it was finance and operating lease in the books of lessee. Now it is finance lease in the books of the lessee. Yeah. So this is very important. A second. What is the journal entry in the books of the lessee as per Ind AS 116?
It's the right of use of asset debit to lease liability credit.
What is the components of ROU asset?
The components of ROU asset is firstly the present value of the lease liability and the present value of lease liability.
Okay. What is the discount rate that is used in the books of lessee?
It's a lesser IRR rate. If it is not available, then lessee IRR rate is used.
Lessee?
IRR rate is used.
Lesser
Incremental
IRR,
borrowing rate.
lesser IRR, lessee incremental borrowing rate. If that lesser IRR
Borrowing
is not
rate.
available, lessee
Not
incremental
available.
borrowing. Write it down also. Okay. What is the journal entry you told in the books of lessee?
A right of use of asset to lesser liability, lease liability.
And further entries? What are the further entries?
Further right of use of asset and depreciation, we charge depreciation in asset account, and for lease liability, we charge interest account. Interest to lease
Depreciation to
liability.
ROU asset. ROU
Yes.
asset to lease liability, depreciation to ROU asset. Okay, so those things you will say. Then, what are the further journal entries? Depreciation will
Further
charge to the asset.
depreciation to P&L and interest also charged to P&L account.
P&L to depreciation, no?
Yes, P&L to depreciation and P&L to interest.
P&L to interest, right. Right. What is the journal entry in the books of lesser?
In lesser, there is a journal entry lease receivables to asset account.
Lease receivable to asset account.
To asset.
Good. Further, what will be there? Entries?
Further, only for the lease receivables, the same like a lessee, the interest has been booked like lease receivable to interest, and it will charge to and interest to P&L account as an income.
Okay. If there are two CGUs, how will you do the impairment testing?
Actually, I don't
Okay,
remember
write it
that.
down. Okay, you can write it down and do it quickly. If there are two CGUs, how will you do the impairment testing? Okay. Control transfer over a period of time. What is the example and what are the conditions?
Yes, sir.
Control transfer over a period of time, examples and the conditions.
Okay. The control is transferred over a period of a time. The condition is that when simultaneously the client is receiving the benefits. Second is the simultaneous the client is receiving the benefit. The second is there is no alternative use for the entity of that particular asset. The entity is modifying the work on the asset on the client's location. And entities having enforceable right to receive the payment in future.
What is
And
these
its
as per
example
100 and example? Yeah, examples.
Example, teaching line, construction sector.
What is the lease as per 116 definition?
The lease is that there is a contract between lesser and lessee for a particular identified asset in which the right of use of asset has been transferred to the lessee for a particular period of a time in exchange of consideration.
What is the definition of subsidiary, joint venture, and associate as per the relevant Ind AS?
Subsidiary where the more than 50% of the right control has been taken by the holding company. Associate when there is a 20% control, and joint venture is the combination of the two parties when two parties join together and mutually share the profit and losses with each other.
So joint venture agreement must be there. Okay, joint venture agreement. Okay. Yes. How to recognize derivatives and embedded derivatives?
Derivatives are likely the forward contracts, option contracts, but embedded derivatives in which there is a feature of derivative plus non-derivative components also.
How will you recognize them in the books of account?
We will recognize as per Ind AS 109 derivative contracts. For derivative contracts, we follow the amortized method, and for nice
Derivatives, you will apply FBTPL.
PLL method.
That you need to do. Okay.
And for embedded derivatives also.
Yes. And lease accounting in the books of lesser. That is done. Okay. What is compound financial instrument?
It is that in which there is a feature of both equity and debt components. For example, convertible preference shares.
What are the CARO amendments?
In CARO amendment, firstly, there in fixed asset head, earlier there is only a fixed asset have been considered, but in CARO 2020, the fixed asset has been classified into PP, and also in PP, if the entity has not the title held in the name of the PP, it also has to be disclosed. In inventory head, earlier there is no clause regarding of disclosure of more disclosure that if there is a change in more than 10% or from the carrying amount, it has been now to be disclosed in CARO 2020. And also earlier there is no requirement to give the remarks by the auditor if he give any qualified opinion in their CARO report, but now in CARO 2020 the auditor need to disclose the remarks which is given in the CARO report.
What is expected credit loss?
Expected credit loss is that the entity is the probability that entity will not receive the amount from its receivables, and it will be calculated on the basis of that the probability of loss multiplied by the amount of default or multiply the exposure risk.
What is the journal entry?
Journal entry is credit loss to provision for the credit loss, and credit loss has transferred to P&L account, and the provision for credit loss will be reduced from the debtors in balance sheet.
Okay. What is the difference between Ind AS 115 and AS 9?
Ind AS 115, it is talk about all the performance obligation, but AS 9 covers only the sales of goods and services. In Ind AS 115, the revenue is booked on the basis of control, but in AS 9, the revenue is booked on the basis of the risk and rewards. Here the revenue amount is on the basis of the transaction price, but in AS 9, the revenue is booked on the basis of what the amount the entity charged in respect of the sales of goods and services.
Okay. How the transaction price is allocated is measured in the Ind AS 115?
The transaction price is allocated on the basis of standalone price. If it is not given, the market assessment has to be done, and if it is not available, then cost plus profit margin, and then after that residual method if it is not last option in there.
Okay. What is identifiable lease as per the Ind AS?
Identifiable lease.
Yes. Identifiable asset.
Identifiable asset. Identifiable asset is that which has a economic benefit to the lessee. Any tangible asset which can due to which the lessee can get the economic benefit.
The customer has obtained substantially all the benefits of the asset, economic of benefits of the asset over a period of time, and the supplier does not have the substitution rights, the right to substitute the asset over a period of time. कस्टमर ने पूरा यूज कर दिया एसेट को, एंड द सप्लायर डज नॉट हैव द सब्स्टिट्यूशन राइट, सप्लायर सब्स्टिट्यूट नहीं कर सकते वो एसेट को, ठीक है. So identifiable lease, the customer has used all the benefits of the asset and the supplier does not right to substitute the asset. A question can come like an employer has given employee, okay, a Ola cab, suppose a drive a cab service for coming to and fro to office, okay, is it a lease?
No, it is not a lease because it is not an identifiable asset, and also the right to risk and reward have not been transferred.
What is the identifiable asset? The customer has used
all the benefits of the asset, and the supplier does not have the right to substitute asset
over a period of time. Yes. Okay. What are the 5 conditions of finance lease?
Finance lease is that firstly, the lease is for lease term is for the major part of the asset. The lessee has a right to purchase the asset at the end of the lease term. The lessee has the lessor offers the lessee to the purchase the asset at the less than the market price. And yes.
Okay. Why Ind AS was introduced?
Ind AS was introduced for the more disclosures require fairly disclosure, more disclosure for globally competitive.
What is the turnover on which the Ind AS is applicable? And Ind AS is not applicable.
Ind AS is applicable to all listed entities, and for unlisted entity, it is applicable when their net worth is more than 250 crore.
Okay. What is a change in accounting policy example and change in the accounting estimate example?
Change in accounting policy is the change in method of depreciation. And change in accounting estimate is change in the any provision for doubtful debts.
What is impairment?
Impairment when the any asset value is less than their market value. And difference between the carrying amount and the fair value is the impairment loss.
Recoverable amount, CA minus RA. Okay. Recoverable amount. What is the recoverable amount? What is the breakup of the recoverable amount? What is the breakup of recoverable amount?
Recoverable amount is the NP net fair value less cost to sell.
Value in use, higher of value in use and cost to sell. Fair value. Value in use is present value of cash flows you can take out, and fair value, estimated selling price minus estimated cost. So they can remember that. Okay. What are the external internal indicators of impairment?
Externally, when the it is a obsolete asset, internal impairments are the asset is not giving, there is a probability that asset from future there will be no cash flows from the asset. Asset is losing its value. An external impairment is when its market value has been reducing. Government changes the policy that this particular asset has been outdated. Innovations has been come.
Okay. In your article C, we have done the audit of petrol pumps. What are the major observations in this?
In major observation, I checked the because in petrol pump there is no GST. We firstly check the sales tax, VAT tax. They have complied all these tax requirements or not. Firstly, we checked it, and we checked the major vouching of their bills.
What were the major observations I asked? Any major observations you had while you doing the audit of this?
A major observation I found of the bogus purchases from their invoices bill, that they have mentioned the same date in their invoices, which we verify, and we later found that it's a bogus purchases.
How did you find out it's a bogus purchase?
We found out from their invoices. Actually, in all the invoices, there is also the freight invoice also attached with that. But in both the invoices, the same date has been mentioned due to it suspect us, and we check it more, verify, and then we find that it's a bogus.
And what did you do once you found a bogus purchase? What was the next step?
We discussed with the management and all the penalties, all the requirements regarding the bogus purchases. We discussed with and try that the all the regarding the P&L, all the P&L statement should be correctly and fairly.
Okay. How good are you in audit? How was your audit experience in Article 6? State
It was
audit?
good experience.
How much?
I did the stat audits of banks, and it
Only
was a good
banks?
experience.
Only banks?
Yes, yes, sir.
Say manufacturing sector also. Manufacturing sector, finance service sector. So I had some diversified exposure. Don't say only banks.
Okay.
Okay. What are the major things that you did in audit?
A major thing that I read in audits, assertions, standards.
What you did in audit, I asked in Article 6.
Okay, in banks I did the in audit verify their loans accounts, their loans account deposits accounts, then ATM verification, then check their MIS reports, then monthly reportings of their monthly reporting of their also in concurrent audit monthly reportings, find the NPAs.
You know what is how do you what are the different types of audit risk?
There are three types of audit risk: inherent risk, detection risk, and control risk.
How do you start an audit?
Firstly, we accept the engagement letter of audit. Then we plan an audit in which we decide the materiality level, what are the risk of material misstatements, what are the major areas we have to check during an audit. Then in execution stage, we execute the audit as per the plan, which as per the audit program which we prepare. And then after that, we do the test of controls, test of details to verify the assertions of financial statement. And then later stages, last stage is for reporting of audit.
Why you want to not join an audit firm? Why you want to join CMS?
I want to join because CMS is providing the solutions for the accounting transactions, and it's a major exposure and it's an interesting profile.
What commitment we can get that you will stay in this profile for long term? We need somebody to stay long term.
Okay, I am ready to stay the long term as I will assure you that I will give my 100% in my job. Where will be I will be work.
But we need somebody to stay longer. Maybe you're interested some other profile after 6 months. Then how can we get that assurity that will stay out here?
I'm sure actually I'm joining this profile because I have interest in that. So I am ensuring that I
But
will
interest can change after a point of time.
yeah, but I will try to find out the interest in that profile and try to grow in that profile only.
But how can we get the assurity from you that you will stay in this? Just because of the interest, we cannot take somebody. That is we can really okay. So make sure that you show that yeah, I'm really interested. I heard about the culture out here from my friends. It was very good. So really, I wanted to stay out here, and I'm assuring you that I will stay out here. Like this, you need to make sure you need to emphasize that I will stay in this home. Okay, it's just not interest. I heard about the culture also. Work is also good. I heard from a senior also the work is good. So I wanted to. I already did audit in my article shape. I really wanted to focus on this industrial. ऐसे करके थोड़ा सा उसको वो रखना है ठीक है. So make sure that वो push करेगा तो you also have to push the limits. You have to emphasize, yeah, I will stay out here. Don't worry, I will stay out here. I will do well. Okay. Are you okay with long working hours?
Yes, sir.
Are you okay with traveling?
Yes.
Yes, में टाइम नहीं होना चाहिए. Yes, जल्दी निकलना चाहिए मुझसे. ठीक है. Yes sir, yes sir, yes definitely yes. Okay. Yes, एकदम आराम से निकलने फटाफट निकलना चाहिए ऐसे. ठीक है. Are you okay with this? Are you okay with that? Okay. So do you have any questions for us?
Yes, sir. Can I ask about the career growth prospect regarding in this profile?
You not ask this. That is the thing. Because you already knew about it, that's why you are enrolling out here, right? That's why you wanted to join this profile. They will not want somebody who don't know anything about it and you want to join in this profile. They want somebody who's
So what
already
I
clear
asked.
mind. You should ask them, "Okay, how was your learning experience out here like this?" Got my point now? How was your learning experience out here? I wanted to know how was your learning experience out here and everything good out here, culture and everything. So that will be your ask. It's a formality. You will not ask about the career growth prospects. So they are not entering everybody. They want somebody who already know about this profile and he wants to stay in this profile for a long term. They don't want somebody who want to switch profile quickly. Okay, so you can say that I was always, अगर आप कोई क्वेश्चन पूछते तो Ind AS में आपको बहुत नॉलेज था, तो Ind AS is something that I always wanted to have a deeper knowledge, so I also wanted this profile. That is also the Ind AS का काम काफी होता है, that is also an audit already have done, so that was also the reason. And I also heard about the culture is also good, तो वो चीज मेरे हिसाब से आपको इजी रहेगा थोड़ा सा. आई थिंक इट्स गुड ओनली. अब दो तीन चीज ये इम्प्रूव करेगा तो मेरे हिसाब से आपको एक इम्पेयरमेंट टेस्टिंग वाला, इम्पेयरमेंट RU जो 2 CGUs वो सब आप इम्प्रूव करिए. बाकी आप सारा क्वेश्चन मोटामोटी बोल ही रहा था. कौन सा क्वेश्चन में आपको दिक्कत आ रहा था आई गेस?
बस ये प्रोफाइल के बारे में कुछ और बता दो.
प्रोफाइल के बारे में आपको थोड़ा और पढ़ना पड़ेगा, ठीक है.